I really want to help you make more money. That's my number one goal, is to help you make more money, take more time for yourself and your family, and definitely take more vacations. Now, how can we get that done? This is Randy Kirk with Small Business Daily, and one of the ways you can get that done is by clever methods of pricing, acquiring, costing, etc., the products and services you sell. And I'm going to give you a few ideas today that you may have already thought of. I mean, who knows? You might have thought of these ideas. These are not only ideas I've thought of over the years. These are ideas I've employed or helped my clients employ. And so I hope there'll be something in here that you can take action on immediately. If you think this is a good topic, please press like. If you'd like to see more of this kind of same stuff, then press subscribe. And then if you'd like to be notified, please do that as well. Plus, I'm looking for your comments. I'm looking for you to let me know in the comments what you like, what you don't like, ideas that you have that I haven't brought up, questions that you have about pricing right now that maybe I haven't addressed, and also anything that you want to ask, ideas for future shows. I read all the comments, I try to comment on all the comments, and I also use those comments as ideas for future shows. Okay, let's talk about how to make way more money with pricing strategies. Okay, let's say you're a retailer. This works for wholesalers too. Let's say that there's a product out there that does very well because it's got a brand on it. It is a standard product. It is a standard looking lamp. Everybody's lamp looks the same. There's nothing fancy about this lamp. It is a good selling stock lamp that sells every single day. But the brand is what's causing it to be able to be sold. Without copyright infractions or any kind of patent infractions, you may be able to buy that lamp from somebody else that's making the lamp domestically, or you may be able to buy it from overseas. Yes, it's true. I've been an importer pretty much my entire career, and importing is a great way to circumvent price wars and gain tremendous margins. So you take the lamp. You might want to make a small difference in it. You don't want it to be an absolute copy, but it's going to be basically the same lamp. You might have to buy 1,000 to get them made, or maybe the company's already making something that's almost exactly the same. And then in that case, you might be able to buy 500 or 250 at a time, as opposed to 1,000. Now, of course, there's costs involved in learning about import. There's costs involved in waiting for the product to arrive. You're going to pay in advance commonly for the product, so your money's tied up longer. But generally speaking, let's say something that costs you from a wholesaler domestically $10 is probably going to cost you $4 to buy direct from China. Now, the wholesaler or importer or manufacturer that you're buying it from may be buying it from the same folks over in China. So it's not, or somebody down the street from that same company in China. So it may be exactly the same quality, exactly the same works, everything about it may be the same. All you're doing is saying, I'm willing to put in the extra time and energy to buy this from offshore, China, Taiwan, Europe. There's all kinds of different countries that you can go to buy product from. But as a retailer, you would commonly be buying from the wholesaler or the manufacturer. By jumping past them and going offshore, you can commonly buy the product at a much lower price, put your own brand on it. Okay, you create your own brand, and now you can offer it retail or wholesale at a much lower price than you could otherwise, or keep the price the same and make a much bigger margin, or some combination of the two. Moreover, as we'll talk about in another show later, you can, once you have that situation where you're buying it overseas at a very low price, now you can afford to compete on Amazon or Shopify or Etsy or eBay, because you've got the lowest possible cost and you can afford to compete in those environments with your own branded product. That idea alone could make you tons and tons of money every year. It is extra work. It is learning something new. You're learning about import. If you go on Amazon, you're going to have to learn how to do Amazon. So there's a lot of extra work, and it's not the same business as your basic business, but it is an extremely helpful strategy. Now, how can you do that, a similar strategy, without going to quite as much work? The payoff is not as big, but it could be close to as big. Go to your manufacturer of the product, or even the wholesaler, and see if you can buy the product bulk. See if there's a way that you can pay less by buying the product without any packaging on it. Commonly, this is true. Whether they have it in stock now in bulk, or whether they be able to run it in the future in bulk, or import it in the future in bulk, they may be willing to make a bulk price for you. If you can buy it in bulk, now, whether you're in wholesale or whether you're in retail, you can either repackage it with your own brand or resell it in bulk with no packaging at all, but still with your brand. Maybe the packaging consists of a sticker that goes on that just puts your brand on it as a result of the sticker. And by buying it in bulk, now you've also reduced the price dramatically, hopefully. Most of the time, it's going to be a pretty big drop. Packaging alone can commonly add $1 or $1.50 to what you're paying for a product at retail or wholesale. So if you could save that $1.50 by buying it bulk, now you can turn around and again, you can either sell it for less, or you can sell it for the same time and pick up the margins, or you can get somewhere in between. You can sell it for a little less and still pick up more margins than your competitor down the street is getting. I've used this approach in retail. I've used it in wholesale. I currently am using it on Amazon. It is an incredibly great way to make the margins that most people don't get in small business. So what are other ways to accomplish some of these pricing opportunities that are out there? So one of the ways is to become a wholesaler. So you may be in retail, but now you want to also be a wholesaler. You go to the manufacturer and you say, listen, I would also like to wholesale these products. You find out what the wholesale agreement requires. Does it require X number of purchases? Is it just a matter of buying more at a time? What does it take to become a wholesaler? Once you become a wholesaler, you might actually wholesale the products. You might not. It may be that the manufacturer is paying enough attention to know whether you are actually reselling to retailers or not. Maybe they just don't care. As long as you buy the requisite quantity, they're perfectly fine with you being a wholesaler. But if you buy as a wholesaler, now, again, you have to buy larger quantities, but now you got this lower cost, maybe by 25, 30, 35% lower cost. This allows you to drop the retail, increase the margins, some combination of both. You might turn around, and because you're buying at wholesale, it may make sense for you to sell it to some of your retail friends in the area who are in the same business, but far away enough that you're not competing with one another. It may mean that you're going to go ahead and put this product on Amazon because now, having purchased it as a wholesaler, you now have the margins to be able to afford to put this on Amazon, even under the brand name that product comes with. Okay, so this is another way that you can create a pricing strategy that you would not otherwise be able to do just by buying better. Okay. Other kinds of pricing strategies. Being the highest priced seller in town. Now, how are you going to get away with that? Well, the way to get away with selling things for more than your neighbor, your competitive neighbor, is by some kind of value added. So, for instance, you might add a guarantee or a warranty that the neighbor isn't doing. Commonly, guarantees and warranties of this kind are not, they're rarely, people just don't have any reason to come back and take advantage of them. So you're basically doing something for free. Maybe the cost of it is there's a sticker on it that says, call if this product breaks, and you'll get a, so you might have some kind of a small cost to add this guarantee or warranty. But that is a way that you can raise your price and say, well, yeah, I know ours is $2 more, but you do get a 6-month guarantee or warranty with ours where you don't get it with our competitor. You might offer some kind of a bundle. So you take some other product that you have a very high margin on, and you add that high margin product to the bundle, and now you come up with combined costs for the two items. You're all familiar with bundles. You get the bundle when you go to your telephone or internet provider, and they bundle things together. You go to your insurance company, they put your homeowner's insurance together with your car insurance to give you a better price. What can you bundle together? The advantage of bundling things together is that you can now offer a price that's slightly less than you would otherwise offer because your transaction cost just went down. If you give somebody an invoice for $100 or you give them an invoice for $200, your transaction cost is the same. But the transaction cost on a per dollar basis just got cut in half. So when you bundle things, it allows you to say, I'll give you a 5% discount or some kind of discount in order to get that invoice higher. Now, the bundling doesn't have to be as specific as what I just talked about. You don't have to have a bundled plan, but you could certainly offer discounts on additional items that are purchased at the same time, in particular, the higher priced items. So if you've just sold somebody something for $200 and there's an accessory that you'd like to sell them that costs $50, giving them a 10% discount to buy that right now, as opposed to coming back later and getting it, which involves another transaction cost and allows them the potential to buy it someplace else. That discount at that moment just makes total sense. So I don't know whether you're doing things like that right now, but that is a strategy that is kind of like bundling, but just slightly different. You can do this with services as well. If you're an accountant, you could virtually give away the annual tax return expense on a small business in return for the $500 a month fee for doing their regular accounting on a monthly basis. You could give away payroll services free as part of bundling together all of their accounting services, including their year-end taxes, which now you're charging for. So these are pricing strategies that will help you to increase your margins, sometimes to increase the amount of the invoice, allow you to sell at less than full retail, where you think that's going to give you an advantage and drive up your total sales on an annual basis, and also protect you from times when prices go down and there's an opportunity for you to move a lot of goods in a bad economy by dropping the price a bit. So I hope you've enjoyed this part of pricing strategies that we want to talk about. I think tomorrow we'll be talking about just a little bit more on pricing strategies, or we might take a break from that because I've got a special guest that I've got lined up, and that might be tomorrow as well. So like what you've heard. If you liked what you heard, please go ahead and subscribe, and definitely hit the notify button so that you can find out who that guest is if I've got them in time for tomorrow's show. This is Randy Kirk at Small Business Daily. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.